you travel on. There's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore, where the brave are free and lovers soar. Come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, well, I wanna drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I love you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hands. Come on, sing me to those Memphis nights. The copper past have been cool as flies. And knock me down and back up again. You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man. There's no road I can hold, the road so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Tell me we're survivors. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, yeah. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. There was a distance between you and I. A misunderstanding once, but now we look it in the eye. There ain't no load that I can't hold. The road so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Tell me we're survivors. Life is a highway, but I wanna ride it all night long. You're going my way, but I wanna drive it all night long.
High above the stadium, Game On Sports. We want to wish you all a happy Mother's Day and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dripping Springs, Texas for the THSLL Class A State Championship, brought to you by Game On Sports. I'm Heckman Harrison, your play-by-play announcer, and joining me in the booth is Coach Hayward Lee and also my guy, Jim Dixon. I'm just going to say you're my guy, Jim Dixon. And gentlemen, here we are again for another state title as two teams that take the midfield and two very, very competitive teams playing for a state title here as the Cavaliers of Lake Travis take on Rockwall Lacrosse Club. And two teams that don't come in with maybe an impressive record, Coach, but don't let the records fool you.
Well, you and I had an opportunity yesterday, Heckman, to see Lake Travis, and don't let that 6-7 record fool you. This is a team that played 5 of the 8 best teams in the state and exceptionally competitive in every one of those games. They can play with and beat anybody on any given day, and they showed their quality yesterday in a semifinal win over Episcopal Houston. And this Rockwall team is really intriguing. They have found their form of late, and in their 3 playoff games, 2 in sudden death overtime. They're the cardiac kids of this tournament, and with a victory yesterday against Kincaid in the semifinal, sets up a terrific matchup between 2 teams playing their best lacrosse, and I can't wait. Strap down and enjoy this one.
And JD, you got an opportunity over on the other field yesterday to get an opportunity to see this Rockwall Lacrosse Club, and what were your impressions of them in that game?
I'm just going to say this: get hot late. And they don't come in with a great record, but they're playing some outstanding lacrosse right now, and they're getting contributions from everybody up and down the lineup.
Get hot late. I like that. That was the comment underneath my photo in high school for the yearbook my senior year. And so here we are, guys. We got some great lacrosse on deck for you here in Dripping Springs, and man, what a great city and town to be in for a great Mother's Day weekend of lacrosse. We've been here all weekend, and man, the hospitality that we've gotten from everywhere we've gone has been absolutely excellent.
I heard the guy at the 7-Eleven bought you coffee this morning. That's how warm and fuzzy they are.
I'm telling you, man, this is some guy, man. He just thought I needed my coffee to be paid for, and I, accepted it. Really appreciated that. JD, thank you.
And we can't overstate it enough. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. What a special day, and we're so appreciative of all of you, and especially to the beautiful, talented, strong, and smart Amanda Lee. Love you, and we'll see you soon.
Sacrifices being made by mothers everywhere, especially Mrs. Dixon and Mrs. Harrison, sacrificing their Mother's Days for us to be here, JD.
Giving in all the way.
Action is getting started here in Dripping Springs as Lake Travis wins at the X. That's Matthew Stanislaus at the X with another victory, and that's something you said before, Coach. We're going to watch out for that face-off and who's going to be earning those extra possessions as Lake Travis gets it started immediately with the victory at the X. Coming down the alley, and that's one that bounces between the pipes, and that's a score for Fabio Medina, getting the party started here for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Medina getting to his left hand right off the initial dodge down the alley and making good use of the pipes, and boy, an ideal start here for Lake Travis, a face-off victory and a conversion in their first possession.
Yeah, and Medina obviously bled out the screen because West in goal really just was kind of unaware of that, even though it was on the far pipe.
Well, fantastic location on that shot, just banking it in off the pipe, and a second face-off win for Lake Travis.
Yeah, Stanislaus doing it again, and look at him working back inside, and boy, somebody has come out of the chute hot, and it is the Cavaliers from Lake Travis getting things started right, and that's number 12, Jonah Rogers, the Lenore Rhines commit.
Yeah, I love what Rogers does here. He gets the ball off possession on the face-off X, and then a little rocker step hesitation and puts the off-ball defender to sleep, and then is able to sneak underneath to finish. So Rockwall needs to make sure that they get in good shape behind the ball first before they start evaluating their matchups.
Stanislaus almost with another victory there at the X, coming up with the possession. All the Cavaliers able to get the clear.
Yeah, and Lake Travis, I mean, they got kicked well into their offensive zone, and they didn't lose focus. They gathered the ball. They worked the clear back in through the backside of the goal. Got a little dicey on the lengthy pass, but for sure they didn't lose any of their composure.
And there's Morton getting to his left hand, which he did multiple times yesterday in the semifinal over Houston Episcopal.
Trying to get back topside, and that's an errant pass from the Cavaliers. Get off sides, and
much needed possession for Rockwall here. See if they can settle themselves down.
Play resumes here in the first quarter. Cavaliers up by 2 scores. Here is Caleb King on the near side. King making a move and a shot across the cage. Possession will stay on this end with Rockwall.
Blessing in disguise that was not on cage, as there was no angle there.
Rockwall in all black with orange trim. Cavaliers from Lake Travis in all white, black numbers. And back inside, Caleb King makes a great pass, and coming out of the cage is Julian Garcia, who had himself a game yesterday here in Dripping Springs.
I like what Rockwall tried to do on offense there. Connor Poe floating off the crease into a good spot. Unfortunately for Rockwall, Lake Travis defense up to the task, rotating very well early.
Initially, that is what you see, and that's Blake Morton working from behind X.
Morton's going to come back to his left hand. He might show you right, but this is where he wants to get.
And you know it too, boy. He will give you that left hand plenty. You don't want to let number 26 heat up. This whole place will start smelling like steak as he gets cooking. Rockwall working back inside. That's another shot attempt that goes wide of the cage, and just like that, the Cavaliers are on the move. And there's a guy we were just talking about, number 26.
But Lake Travis is just dictating on the ride. Basically, they're just closing down the middle and forcing Rockwall to the edge, and knowing that Rockwall, you know, although they have some hot shooters, they got to get in the zone, and they're not allowing them.
And that's Fabio Medina trying to get back topside, and no penalty called.
The officials letting them play a little bit early.
Luke Avery avoiding the contact and trying to get the clear now is the Rockwall Lacrosse Club. Going to get an offsides penalty here, and possession goes back.
Rockwall needs to be careful here. Lake Travis has numbers.
Look at that, and that is easy peasy for number 12, Jonah Rogers, again with the hot head.
Yeah, quick restarts create offensive opportunities. In that case, the offside call and the quick restart, and Rockwall just a little bit slow to get back in transition defense, and the next thing you know, they're staring at a 3-on-2 in the face.
Look at that pivot back inside by number 12, Jonah Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers didn't really even need to make a move. I mean, I think he did it just because he could, but he didn't really need to make a move. He's running right into the teeth of the goal.
6:51 here in the first. Cavaliers up by 3 goals early over Rockwall, and Rockwall just having to find a way to withstand this first round of barrage that's coming from the Cavaliers. And Coach, I've I've talked to you enough and we've called enough games together so far, and I know you're going to liken this to a heavyweight fight. What do they got to do to start returning some punches of their own?
Well, first of all, everybody just take a breath on the Rockwall sideline. This is a long game when we're only a few minutes in. Second, let's figure out how we can win this face-off. Well, if we can't win the draw, let's turn it into a ground ball, and then let's get into a settled offensive possession. Let's let the ball touch all 6 offensive players. Let's start to get into a rhythm, and then we can go about attacking.
That sounds easy enough. Let's see if they are able to execute. As you see this first goal by Fabio Medina, and then after that, it was all number 12, Jonah Rogers, just making it look real easy. Like you said, JD, he didn't have to do much movement there to get the shot off, but he did, and that's a great save. That's Rogers again.
And really all of Lake Travis's goals coming in transition or early offense. So this is a recurring theme we talk about quite a bit, but getting back in transition defense, getting bodies behind the goal, supporting the on-ball defender first before we get matched up, so important.
Back down at the X here in Dripping Springs, and been here all weekend for action-packed excitement for the THSLL State Championship Tournament. Great lacrosse being played in the drip, as they call it.
Yep.
Now Rockwall with some numbers.
See if they can take advantage, and that's a shot from Rockwall as they cash in to get on the board. Number 14, Connor Poe.
Well, just what the doctor ordered for Rockwall, Coach Michael Fay taking that timeout, and then even though Lake Travis winning the faceoff, Rockwall alertly coming up with a ground ball and then leading the 4-on-3 transition break and the low-to-low finish. Exactly what Rockwall needed.
Well, and a lot of Poe's work yesterday that I got to experience during his game was a lot of it was on transition and movement, and he was just set up. They fed him, and he popped it in the back of the net.
And Stanislas again with the victory at the X, earning those extra possessions for the Cavaliers, and that's a high arcing pass. And Aiden Howard able to secure the possession for the Cavaliers. Kalanick working on the far side. From behind X, Rogers with the screen. Kalanick and Rogers trying to play a little bit of a two-man game. Kalanick back top side, putting in position, and that's a shot. Boy, that the vision was impaired by Brett West, and he looks up and the ball is right in his chest.
Outstanding job by Rockwall, denying Morton topside to his left hand, forcing him to roll back to his right hand, which is not his preferred side, and reducing his angle at the same time and getting the save.
You know he's a lefty shooter. Keeping eyes on Morton. Moving back across X is number 21, Caleb King. That's a timeout called, I believe, on Rockwall.
And Rockwall kind of, they put their bigger bodies on defense, and they're going at you with the smaller attack men. And I think Lake Travis is going to try and muscle them out of the zone. And they've had some decent luck so far, and have been in dictating what's going on the defense.
You can tell how important this possession is to Coach Fay, using his second timeout, his last timeout of the first half here at the 5:05 mark of the first quarter, in order to sustain possession.
That took the point right out of my mouth, because that's what I was going to say. That shows you how important these possessions are to Coach Fay, being it that he's taking his last timeout and putting himself in a vulnerable position now with A lot of lacrosse still left to play.
A lot of lacrosse left to play. You'd like to save that second timeout a little bit later, especially on a hot day. But, you know, he's thinking, I have not had a lot of sustained possessions. This would be bad for us to turn it over here in the corner. And he's going to let his guys breathe, set up something here off the timeout, and try to get this game to 3-2.
For you, JD, in your earlier game that you got an opportunity to watch, Rockwall, you talk about getting hot late. Is this kind of indicative of the start that they had yesterday?
Yeah, the start yesterday was kind of, you know, we looked up at halftime and went, okay, nobody's really doing much of anything, and then, you know, they kind of stepped it up, but their game was really kind of in question against their Austin area opponent. You know, well into the fourth period, it really didn't have any separate. Well, I'm sorry, I've watched a lot of lacrosse yesterday.
And Lake Travis giving Rockwall a wrinkle here, showing zone off the timeout.
You see that, and Travis able to come away with it, but JD, I completely understand.
Yeah, Rockwall. I apologize. Rockwall actually went into double overtime, and you know, in beating the top seed Kincaid. And you know, they were, you know, it was you know, neck and neck, and went down the length of the wire. But they had to close late in order to seal the deal.
That was a shot attempt by Aiden Howard, as Rockwall with the offensive possession. Trying to slow things down, get into their
Lake Travis still in a zone here with the short sticks playing the two inside spots.
Like you said, that must be the respect that they have for their shooters. As Michael Scott Jr. is on the clear for the Cavaliers.
And Lake Travis is very athletic. We Game On covered Lake Travis and HP early in the season, and Lake Travis very athletic on both ends of the field.
I would tend to agree. I got an opportunity to call yesterday, and that's number 26, Blake Morton. He is a name that I called consistently yesterday from all of the good things that he was doing. Guy got hot early, but I tell you what, number 1, Fabio Medina is another one you better watch as well.
And there's Morton again with a nice assist across the defense to Medina with a little hitch, and when he gets his right hand inside the hash marks in the middle of the field, good things are going to happen for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, they just made that look entirely too easy. But you're right, Blake Morton facilitating Fabio Medina from about 12 yards out with the shot.
But to me, the story of the last couple of minutes is the zone defense that the Cavaliers have jumped in. The two possessions that Rockwall has had to it collectively have lasted 14 seconds between them, resulting in a shot turnover and then a turnover. So they'll have to make better decisions against the zone.
That's an error on Caleb King. Ball goes out of bounds. Well, they're going to keep the possession with Rockwall as Caleb King brings it back in bounds for Rockwall.
Yeah, King got forced to the edge and got stripped on the overhand on the ding-a-ling check and pushed the ball out of bounds. I think there were some sportsmanlike issues, and that's why Rockwall was rewarded.
Evan Harris with the pass. Back down to King. Looked like they had some Cody Kovac.
To attack a zone, it requires patience and passing.
And you see them trying to have a little bit of patience here, Coach. But that's just excellent defense. Well, nope. As clearly the Lake Travis faithful, not a fan of that call.
One zone offense from Rockwall, but unfortunately just a little sloppy ball handling.
Bit of a scrum, and just like that, the Cavaliers forced a turnover. and back in action. Working their way back up and not keeping his head on the swivel is number 22, Michael Scott Jr.
Got a flag down and a free play here for the Cavaliers.
Number 5, Nico trying. Boy, what a pass attempt from Fabio Medina. If he was able to get that one inside, he was looking to get it to Michael Stott.
Yeah, I think Stotts was on the back side and just got a late break on it. Otherwise, that would have been that could have possibly been Church on the goal.
Here we are, a situation for the Cavaliers where they are a man up on that possession. 1 minute. See if the Cavaliers are able to take advantage in their man-up offense. Now you see, Coach, you see Rockwall collapsing their defense in and around the crease to protect their goalie.
A 2-3-1 from the Cavaliers early and a little roll-off from the crease, working 3 to a side. Nice little right-handed look.
Brett West. Goalie for Rockwall. Trying to keep his head turned around because he knows that there are shooters on the other side for the Cavaliers that can get it done from any angle. And the guy you got to watch is number 1, Fabio Medina. Medina working his way up the alley, and just like that, number 1, and he is doing his dance right at the 15.
Yeah, Medina just a straight alley dodge to his right hand at the hash marks and able to find the back of the net, and he's off to a terrific start so far.
Now that's his 3rd goal so far for number 1. And my goodness, from a distance away, able to cash in. And here we are back down at the X.
And we're at half, right? Oh, no. Still in the first period.
It's still the first period.
Okay. I wanted to get myself righted, although just a minute left.
Goodness, man. And Stanislas is just amazing at the X. Whew. And we got some physical play going on out here from Rockwall.
Yeah, Rockwall's going to be a lot more physical on the defensive end. They got some big bodies down there in Jarek Atkinson.
Spit it out.
Man.
He tried it.
Between language and penmanship, I'm doomed. But they got some big athletic bodies on the defensive end.
And can they take advantage of it, basically, is going to be the bigger question, as it seems like the Cavaliers are using their speed and skill at will here.
And it starts with face-off dominance, which they've had, and then excellent execution on offense. And then at the defensive end, the zone defense has given Rockwall fits. Really nothing but turnovers from Rockwall to the zone defense. So I'm sure Michael Fay and his timeout with his offensive guys is going to have to settle them and get them into a good plan to attack that.
The Cavaliers are back on the field. And Coach Fay taking some time to give instruction to his group. Find themselves down by 4 scores, and the Cavaliers are right at their doorstep once again with 50 seconds left in the first quarter. These teams are competing for a Class A state title. As Fabio Medina implores the Lake Travis faithful to get on their feet. And this is the start that I'm sure that the Cavaliers had hoped for.
And with the shot clock turned off at this point, I would be surprised if Lake Travis just wouldn't be surprised if they just held this ball.
Jonah Rogers trying to get back topside, dancing behind the crease, getting back in front of the cage, and that ball rolls off of the heels of Brett West, and just like that, Coach, they cash in.
That's his 3rd of the game, and hey, what do I know? Rather than holding for the last 15 seconds, they went right at the cage, and Beautiful little change of direction at X and turning the corner, dropping his hands and finishing low to low.
Jonah Rogers coming back, getting topside and scores.
I mean, you almost want to pop it in and go and win another faceoff because you want to leave enough time on the clock to work, and that's kind of how they win at it.
And the game of strategy starting to play out here. As now the Cavaliers are up by 5 goals.
And Rogers with his third of the day.
Clamping down, and that's a victory at the X. Woo-wee! That was some mustard on that one. From number 14, Connor Poe.
Great face-off win by Rockwall, and obviously the fast break set and beautiful shot by Connor Poe from the point position, just what Rockwall needed.
But look at the velocity on that shot from Poe.
Yeah, and Poe was set up, but Lake Travis may have shot themselves in the foot with that quick strike strategy and going to win the faceoff, and they kind of flipped the script on themselves with allowing that goal with Rockwall to go down and kind of set the tone.
And Coach, that's exactly what you were talking about. Maybe holding there with that last 50 seconds.
Well, again, each to his own. I think Lake Travis wants to play consistent with their team's personality and what's gotten them here all year. So I'm not going to second guess that at all.
Hugh Stanislas with the pass to number 1, Fabio Medina, who already has 3 goals in this Class A championship lacrosse match, brought to you by Game On Sports. Rogers with the roller across the cage. Possession will stay with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Rogers kind of lost his footing through the shot and just lost leverage and just it rolled out errantly, and that opportunity was missed.
What a pace for that first quarter for both of these teams, and we've been asking ourselves as the afternoon carries on, can they continue this pace to a championship? And for you, what are all the indications giving you, Coach?
Well, I think for Lake Travis, obviously very pleased with how this game has started. They've controlled the face-off X for the most part and have been able to get early offense going and been able to get their best players on track, Medina and Rogers. For Rockwall, really you're talking about 3 things. Number 1, how can you right the ship at the face-off X? Clearly they've found something. They got the fast break face-off goal 2 face-offs ago, so there's clearly some positives there. Number 2, we've got to correct zone offense. We've got to get our team in a shape and execute a little bit better. And then number 3, got to get bodies behind the ball and transition defense and not give up any cheapies.
And you saw how that worked for them there, winning the face-off, and that's a score for number 14, Connor Poe. Rockwall down by 4 goals. Sorry about that.
And Rockwall could have explosive attacks and a series of them. And they exhibited that yesterday, fighting back into that thing to work to double overtime.
They've got to stay close as the Cavaliers just seem like they have all of the momentum. And Rockwall did a good job there at the end of the first, getting another goal, stealing some of it back. But so far, all of the momentum is in favor of the Cavaliers. And Lake Travis just showing their speed. It's the one thing that is blaring about this game right now is just the speed from the guys in white.
Well, and the speed, but they're approaching it from a very methodical point of view. I mean, they know what got them here. They know how to operate. They know how they're going to approach, and they haven't deviated from that.
Interesting difference in the body language on the 2 sidelines. You've got Rockwall with their entire team huddled underneath the 2 tents that they have to try to get some shade as they talk to their coaches. You've got Lake Travis that didn't even bother to bring any tent or coverage, and they're just content to stay out here in the sun and not fazed by it at all.
Well, I was going to point that out in our last game. If you just took the score away from the screen and looked at body language, what would you read from what's going on in the game? and that's kind of where we're at, and to your point.
Look at that. You see it, Evan Harris from Rockwall thinking that he won the face-off, going in the opposite direction and not able to secure the ball on the face-off, and that's going to be a possession to the Cavaliers. As Luke Elder brings the ball inbounds, and superior defenseman for the Cavaliers.
Elder with a great game yesterday against Houston Episcopal. He does everything here for Lake Travis. Plays close, plays LSM, and on the wing for faceoffs.
Look at them catch them inside, and Lake Travis right on the doorstep, not able to cash that one in as number 17, Jagger Davis, is kicking himself.
Okay, Trees, come on, let's get one.
Across the field pass. Luke Dearborn passes out to number 14, Connor Poe. Luke Avery setting up the offense for Rockwall. And you have Caleb King trying to work it back inside, and that's a shot attempt.
Lake Travis staying in the zone defense, and that shot, again, good thing for Rockwall it went right, as there was really no angle there.
Back in the middle for Caleb King. King facilitating from the middle. Finding a cutter, and that's a shot. It doesn't have any steam on it because of the rear check.
Yeah, it's a tough angle to feed the crease from there. When you're feeding the crease from a point in the 1-4-1, he's got to catch it and turn a full 180 degrees, and that time the nice stick check from the Cavaliers to force the shot turnover.
Jonah Rogers and number 22, Mike Stotts Jr. And there it is again, number 12, Jonah Rogers. You recognize he makes that pivot move and comes back up top. There's nobody in his line of sight, and he's going to cash in every time.
Yeah, you might say that might be Mr. Rogers' neighborhood right there, as he splits to his left hand just to set up the roll back to his right, and that's his fourth of the game, and he's clearly feeling it as Lake Travis extends their lead.
Yeah, he popped it into a narrow window just under the arms and just over the hips of West and goal for Rockwall, and they got to answer for that.
And the Rockwall defender needs to be more poised there and just recognize that you want to force him underneath to his left hand and not give him topside to his right hand.
And you see that defense running right at Rogers, recognizing that he is the guy that will make you pay if you leave him by himself. And that's Jarek Ankton, number 77, with the long pole, extending all the way out on Rogers. They have got to keep a body on 12. .920 left here in the second. That's a shot attempt on the far side.
I mean, that was, if you're Lake Travis, that's exactly what you're looking for with a missed opportunity.
Nico Triant on the shot. I'll tell you what, I see something right now. It's really going to be hard for Jarek Ankton to stay with Jonah Rogers just in the speed difference. He took off and ran right by number 77.
Yeah, Rogers blowing by him to his left hand, drawing the slide and finding Morton, who just sailed it high in the cage.
Rockwall with a defensive stance. Coming all the way out of the cage is Brett West, trying to get the clear. Being patient and methodical, but that's going to be an errant pass and turnover by Rockwall. Possession back to the Cavaliers that have a 5-goal lead and threatening. And there's a guy standing by himself, and you cannot give him that angle and that window because Jonah Rogers will make you pay.
Yeah, it's just transition defense again. We've got Rockwall substituting and not having bodies back behind the ball. And, of course, Lake Travis is going to find Rogers right away. He's got a very soft corner there. He didn't even need to dodge. He could just catch and shoot.
Well, and this on this near side or on the other end, on the far side, is what they're working, and that seems to be where the ball ends up in transition, and they're just taking advantage of it.
Jonah Rogers playing the post man. He is delivering the mail here in Dripping Springs with his 5th goal here in the Class A state title. As Evan Harris, things are getting a little physical there versus Stanislaus, and that is going to be a turnover.
And you can sense the energy difference between the two teams from here.
I love this display as you pointed out, Coach, that for the Cavaliers, they didn't bring a canopy, got their water behind them. They're not going to use any excuses here in Dripping Springs. That's one team, I saw them coming to the stadium yesterday, and the Cavaliers come in with all of the swagger of a state champion. What a pass from Jonah Rogers. Not able to be handled by Jagger Davis.
But I'm always more upbeat if I have a short commute to work.
Well, I tell you what, there's one team out here that definitely had a shorter commute than the other one. And that would be Lake Travis. As they have the benefit of being sort of local.
Sort of local.
Sort of local for this area. But Rockwall, you're right, man. It's the body language for me for Rockwall. They're still in this thing. There's a lot of lacrosse to play. And this is one of those where Coach Fay has to get his guys to show a lot more energy offensively and defensively. They're kind of just, lazy walking themselves onto the field and going through the motions. They're fighting for a state title, so this is the time. Obviously, being down by 6 goals, you don't want to be in this place, but you're in a dogfight, and you got to fight your way out of it.
And you wonder if perhaps Rockwall expended a little energy from their gas tank in their overtime victory yesterday against Kincaid, both physical and emotional energy. Jim, I know you were there calling that game. Regardless, they're going to have to find a way of getting into their reserve tank here. It really all starts with some kind of positive play here at the defensive end, force a turnover, get some transition, and get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it may just be the personality of the club. I mean, sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes these kids are, hey, I'll just take the field at my own pace. Sometimes, you look at a kid and the body language leads you to think he's not very positive, but as soon as the whistle blows, he's all business. And I think that's what you have in Rockwall. I think you have a more workmanlike structure, and these kids, this is what I saw yesterday. They just didn't have a lot of energy on the field, but they ended up on the right end of the scoreboard when things shut down in double overtime. And it's just kind of the personalities you indicated, earlier on in the first game that we did.
And now Rockwall changing the matchup on Rogers.
Have to do something there, and Yankton showing love with his stick out here on 26. Blake Morton coming back top side, met by resistance from Rockwall. Going back to what you were talking about, JD, you hope that you have a team that can turn it on and off, but when you have another team in front of you that is working like a fine-tuned machine, it's hard to turn that on and off. And so, great save down there by Brett West.
Yeah, West got just rattled in the midsection on that thing, but he was, another great position save that we've seen from a lot of these goalies today.
Wow, there's something going right, and that was a bad pass, but able to be collected by number 14, Connor Poe.
You know, and Coach, you alluded to the energy and the resources that you have to put to advance on. And, you know, you're right. They might have spent a little bit yesterday, but you know, they've certainly earned the right to be here. And you know, they gotta bow their back and convert when they have the opportunity.
Well, I think energy really starts with just one positive play. You stack little things that are positive on top of each other, and you derive energy from that. Unfortunately for Rockwall, maybe not the best shot location, and although you love the energy that they're expending in the riding game, trying to earn it back.
And that was Treese Kimball with the shot attempt on goal for Rockwall. As Rockwall able to create a turnover and back in business on offense, and they have numbers, but that's an easy save.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Rockwall. They had a 2-on-1 there and a dunk if they could have just made that look, but instead the opportunity erased by the Cavaliers.
Want to make the extra pass, didn't happen, and easy save for Julian Garcia. And there's the guy, Rogers, pivoting back inside, and boy, did he have West on his heels.
But what I saw yesterday, and you know, West had the opportunity yesterday. He just it doesn't go in the stat lines, but he stopped a lot of shots with his positioning, and you're not really seeing that opportunity today simply because Lake Travis just has a bunch of tools over there.
We have a penalty call, play stop, obviously going against Rockwall.
They got a little extracurriculars. They caught some extracurriculars going on there, and I believe they've got the Rockwall player for some unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think that's number 1, Shamus Parks.
As the loudspeaker plays, "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
I love it. Everyone here in Dripping Springs emotionally invested. See from the parents.
Now, Lake Travis very effective on their last man up. 2-3-1 set, and they run the little motion off the crease. Watch the carry and watch Rogers potentially pop off here.
Oh, and that you called it perfectly as the Morton Steakhouse is open. Blake Morton cashes in here in Dripping Springs.
They put you in a bind defensively. If they pass you off, which they did in that case, you want to throw it forward, and now you got the big left-hander Morton with his gun on that side, and if they don't, you can throw it back, and you've got Rogers with his right-handed gun in his favorite spot.
Starting to pull away here.
Yeah, I mean, Morton was set up. He didn't even move. He just unloaded.
See at the Morton Steakhouse, I'm sure there are plenty of mothers being taken to dinner today on Mother's Day. And you and I, JD, we don't eat meat. So we've been treated to some skull and cake bones here in Dripping Springs for all of those vegan meals that we eat, and that was absolutely delicious here in Dripping
Hey,
Springs.
man, if you're rolling by and in need of an empanada, that's the joint.
Yeah, skull and cake bones. Showing some love and giving a special shout out. 4:23 here in the second. Rockwall needing something to go their way as all of the momentum has shifted in this Class A state championship battle.
And Lake Travis is just doing a great job on the ride, just pushing them to the perimeter and forcing bad passes and benefiting right there.
And Stott Jr. putting in work with the long pole. Pass out to Rogers. Look at Rogers across the field to Morton, who climbs the ladder to secure the possession. Kalanick comes across and now in the alley, working up close, and he draws the double. Runs through the contact, comes back top side, and he finds number 17. That's a save from West, as you've talked about him, JD, doing a wonderful job being peppered with shots all afternoon.
The kid's great on positioning.
Rockwall looking to create the clear, and they do. Another offensive possession for Rockwall that's been few and far in between. Evan Harris working down there behind X, and that's a shot attempt. I believe that's number 15, Leighton Dutka.
Lake Travis really executing that zone to perfection. The short stick playing the point, supported on the wings. That's the weak spot in the zone right there, the little soft spot in the high crease. I like the look from Rockwall, unfortunately not able to finish.
Look at the two-man game working to perfection, and what a pass by Jonah Rogers up top to Jace White.
And again, there are good times to substitute, and then there are not good times to substitute, and you cannot wholesale substitute your midfield when the goaltender makes a clean save and they're immediately breaking out in transition offense. And Rockwall just not enough bodies behind the ball, and easy fast break conversion for Lake Travis, who seems to have everything going their way.
Yeah, Jace White reporting for duty here in Dripping Springs, getting in the scoring column for his team, and back down at the X.
Now, Heckma, you alluded to swagger and confidence on part of Lake Travis, and you're seeing it here. Jace White earlier in the period had a situational awareness where he got a nice nifty backhand pass off, and then he follows up with this goal. And these guys are just playing with extreme confidence.
That's a shot there from number 12 that probably goes all the way back to Lake Travis.
Man, if it would have hit that cedar fence, it would have broke it.
But you're right, JD. They have playing with swagger and confidence. They came into the stadium that way. They on the field that way. You love to see it. Playing collectively. Come on now. That's what you call a heat check right there for Blake Morton.
Yeah, Morton with the behind the back attempt there, and
call a little bit of French pastry.
A little French pastry on a Sunday.
Spinning out of that contact from Medina. As Caleb King is a minute to go here in the first half.
And Morton's shot was outstanding. The where it fell down was basically West was in position.
Trying to work back inside is Evan Harris, who is also the face-off specialist. Spending a lot of energy is that number 9. Oh, back inside, and that was a beautiful pass to number 14, Connor Poe.
Well, I like the execution to the zone. That time they were able to get it to the low crease guy and the quick catch and finish. That's the best offensive possession that Rockwall has had to the zone, and a beautiful conversion there.
Yeah, and Poe rolled in, set up late, and just didn't have to move, right on stick and dumped it. And as you said, great execution.
And you can tell that if Rockwall's going to be the best version of itself offensively, 14 is going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, have to get that ball back inside to Poe. He has been Mr. Everything for this Rockwall group, and so far has just getting these points right now. You love to see it from Rockwall. And, Coach, I'm going to continue to say what you've said about getting points at the end of quarters and how they count. I think that does miracles for your squad and their psyche when you talk about this Cavaliers team that's come in with all of the energy.
It sure does. You can see Coach Fay jumping up and down on the sideline and a little bit of life on that bench. And
that's the guy that they were looking for, and that's a push in the back, and flags come out. But not going to blow it dead because the Cavaliers have 13 seconds to operate with. And look at that. Blake rolls it out of bounds as the clock stops.
There he is.
Here's an advantage with seconds left on the clock. I believe that the Cavaliers thought that they would have more time on the clock. And they're just going to let the first half come to a close as they will have a man-up advantage to start the third. We may have to remember that. But, Coach, give me your evaluation of this first half of action and what, obviously, Rockwall needs to try and get back in this game.
well, I think a couple things. First of all, the Lake Travis zone defense, for the most part, has given Rockwall fits offensively. And on the other end, Rockwall really struggling to get back in transition defense, and Lake Travis able to run and gun, able to create offense off of saves, off of face-offs, off of turnovers in the riding game. And as you see, a 10-3 score, everything really going Lake Travis's way so far.
Yeah, Jonah Rogers, as you see him fitting these passes, fitting these shots into small windows. And number 4, Jace White with the long pole, getting the party started again for the Cavaliers. And saw Rockwall try to battle back, and little by little, you saw them trying to steal some of that momentum, but none of that was going their way, JD. And this is the squad that you got to see yesterday. Was this about the same pace that they were at yesterday, winning in double overtime?
It's hard to compare and contrast. It's totally different games with their opponent in Kincaid yesterday versus what they're facing with Lake Travis today. They are very methodical about it, and if you give them opportunity, they're going to hang around and hang around. The unfortunate side is Lake Travis is just making run upon run upon run, and just forcing their hand, and Rockwall's got to kind of come together and come together and get together all on the same page, work on defense, get the transition game going, and get the offense going a little bit better than it has with fits and starts and have scored 3 goals.
And as both teams take a break here for halftime, we'll do the same and step away, and we'll be right back for the beginning of the third quarter here on Game On Sports for some THSLL Class A State Championship Lacrosse.
The customer service is really unparalleled. I've never seen anything like it with any other company.
The emblem, it just says a lot. It means, hey, I bought from Sewell.
They listened to what I had to say and actually cared about my experience.
Every once in a while, you want to be spoiled, and Sewell does that.
It's not just a transaction. That's the thing about Sewell.
I will always drive a Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and certified pre-owned vehicles at Sewell Cadillac or SewellCadillac.com.
In the end, it's not the politician that builds this country. It's the entrepreneur, carrying the world's largest economy on their shoulders, putting Americans back to work. Really, they're the only ones who ever could. We've always been the entrepreneur's bank for the century behind and the century ahead. Vista Bank. Entrepreneurs banking entrepreneurs since 1912.
When I think Lexus, I automatically think Sewell.
When I look at a license plate that says just Lexus, I'm like, oh, that's good for you. When I see a Sewell on it, I'm like, you know what I know.
I show up and I have my crew with me. They acknowledge me and they acknowledge my children, maybe give them a high five.
You get more than you expect. You get the wow factor at Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and L-certified Lexus vehicles at Sewell Lexus.
And for Rockwall, Hudson Kirk, midfield and LSN, number 12, all district. Give it up to these fantastic players. Don't forget to pick up your state championship t-shirts for just $20. Target is still available for $5. These are the memories from our past.
Stick to the BEAT, get ready to ignite. You were such a P1T, catching all the lights. Just easy as ABC, that's how we make it right.
his first half performance.
He's had a tremendous first half, but you're right. It's been crisp passing. It's been excellent execution out of your zone on the defensive end. It's been great transition offense. And then you've got three finishers that are lethal. You've got Medina, you've got Morton, and of course the young man you alluded to, Rogers, has had a field day so far, and certainly a special day for him. And I have a feeling that we may see more out of number 12.
And remember that penalty at the end of the first half. I believe that they will still have an advantage.
Now, so far, Lake Travis has had a lot of success out of their man-up offense. Let's see if they stay in their 2-3 run. And, well, now they'll be in a little bit different set because now Rogers starts here in the natural lefty wing.
See how fast the defense adjusted to Jonah. Over here on the right side and finding a backdoor cutter, and that's Fabio Medina sneaking in, and he does his dance on the 20.
Yeah, nifty little play that they put in over the halftime break, the little fake flip and carry, and then Medina cutting from the righty wing across the crease and finding him for a beautiful catch and finish. Well done by Lake Travis.
Yeah, quick strike ability from the quick strike ability for the Cavaliers, wasting no time, 19 seconds off of the clock. And Fabio Medina doing a little bit of a dance there, JD, and boy, the Cavaliers wasting no time.
He does it all. He scores. He probably mows your lawn. He cheers for he gets the crowd stirred up at halftime. He's his own hype man. He's everything.
And that's Jonah Rogers with this shot back across. Boy, that ricocheted off of a player.
That came off Ankton's leg.
Kids made a steal.
Better be.
Kids made a steal.
Better be, because that was armor piercing.
And Medina with the pass to number 18, Grayson Wright. That's good defense.
That
there
was
by
a
Rockwall.
nifty check.
You don't often see over-the-head checks from short sticks, but what a terrific check right there.
And Evan Harris loses the ball. And Blake Morton bringing the ball inbounds, getting it over to Kolinick. Kolinick to Medina. Medina working in the alley, attracting the double team. And that's a shot from number 12, Jonah Rogers. Even better save by Brett West. Rockwall finally in action here in the second half, and got ourselves a yard sale.
Oh boy, right off that bottom hand. You can't do any better than that.
And everything going the Cavaliers' way. Kolinick surveying the defense, coming back across. He attracts the double team. And great turnover, forcing the turnover.
And now Rockwall with numbers.
Rockwall with numbers, see if they can advance, and that's an easy save by Julian Garcia.
Garcia saw that the whole way, left-handed, high to high.
Now, Coach, when you're working with guys on a run like that, when you have numbers, what do you want them to look for before they shoot or before they pull off and set their offense?
Well, the first thing is you set your attack up in a shape where you have certain prescribed looks. Most of us run L breaks, and so the midfielder coming down the field, his first job is to look diagonally, and then he looks to the point guy, and everybody's got certain looks. In spacing, you want your lefty on the natural lefty side, you want your righty finisher on the natural righty side, and then you want to let them play lacrosse from there.
Caleb King Getting out to Harris. Rockwall's trying to be methodical and set up their offense. They know that the Cavaliers work so quick in transition, and there he is again, number 4, Jace White.
And White does a great job of jumping passing lanes. And one of the disadvantages of the 1-4-1 zone offense is there are only 4 perimeter guys, so the passes are long. And if you telegraph your pass, there's a great opportunity for the pole that's playing the high wing spot to be able to jump in that passing lane and knock the ball down or pick it off.
Here is the penalty, excuse me.
Rockwall's going to have to get in their shape, and then somebody's going to have to get into a seam of this zone defense and pull 2 players and get the ball moving.
And here's a situation to man up. For Rockwall, see if they can take advantage. And we have a stoppage in play as we're trying to reset.
I think they're trying to get the clock reset to 8:27.
Well, regardless, Rockwall needs to come out and work out of the perimeters and try and get into the shooting zone on this man up, and I would hope they could take advantage of it and kind of stop the bleeding to a certain extent.
Excellent opportunity for them to, exactly right, to stop the bleeding, and I have a feeling 14 will be involved in some capacity here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
He starts out on the crease. I do not expect him to stay there.
I would just leave him there, and I'd come out and I'd go, I'm going to pass to him right here, and he's going to do this.
And Connor Poe is the player that we're talking about.
Well, Lake Travis is going to shut him off with their short sticks, so they may not have access.
Trying to look for that backdoor cutter and trying to find a different look. It's Rockwall.
Yeah, Kovacs kind of came in late and set up, and I don't know that they were intending to decoy Poe, but weren't able to take advantage.
Well, nice job by Lake Travis. They were shutting off Poe so that he would not be. They could not. Rockwall was not able to pass him the ball because he was being denied. So that opened up the skip pass. Unfortunately, not able to execute.
And Blake Morton over here on the near side being defended versus number 77, and Jarek Yankton. Yankton trying to keep that stick in front of Morton. Hard to see around big number 77.
That kid's a freshman too, Heckma.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not that I doubted you, but you did see me look down at my
paper.
No way. Number 77 is a freshman.
That's a big joker for a freshman.
Yes, it is. Another kid that was going out to recess about 10 months ago in middle school. I don't think they have recess in middle school. I'm just joking with you, Mr. Yankton. And here he is playing in the state title. And Rockwall on the move. Usselton with the clear. Trying to create some space on the far side. You see Jace White, boy, he is going to keep that momentum on that stick. Going to keep that stick moving. Jonah Rogers with the turnover. Blake Morton
And Ankton is extremely disciplined. He sets up, he forces your lane, and he makes you have to work.
Boy, he making them work. But I tell you what, Blake Morton say, I will work for my food today, and he is not playing with his meal right now as Blake Morton cashes in.
Well, just a little more situational awareness of what the scouting report and tendency is on players. Morton is always coming back to his left hand. So when you're playing him, you want to flush him through X to his right, overplaying the right hand and allowing Morton to get back to where he wants to go. And when that happens, often the ball's in the back of the net.
He worked that to perfection, finding his sweet spot on the field. And like you said, Coach, the lefty shooter, always returning back to what he loves, and that's the left hand. And the push with possession.
In general, if you're able to, you always want to take something away from an offensive player. Make him go to plan B.
It's Rockwall advancing. That's Caleb King. King to Harris. Right now, Rockwall needing something to go their way offensively.
Somebody's got to get in a gap, draw two. The weak flexion points of this zone defense are in the high and low crease areas.
And whistles caught. Whistle sounds, and looks like there's going to be a timeout taken.
Yeah, and Rockwall, they're obviously valuing the possession, and they want to convert on that, and they're going to go over and talk about it.
You know, Coach, I know you said something about Blake Morton wanting to take something away from him and make him go to plan B. I dare say on this Sunday afternoon that his plan B would even work because he's just that good and efficient. But you're right, he relies heavily on that left hand. He knows where his sweet spots are, and he doesn't deviate from it.
Yeah, he's had a lot of success. And, hey, some guys get their strong hand no matter what. And Morton has seemed to have gotten what he wants when he wants it, as has Rogers, as has Medina. The three-headed monster, if you will. Really hard to stop those three guys.
Here we are with a Class A state title on the line here in Dripping Springs, Texas, with some THSLL championship lacrosse on Game On Sports. And this has been a weekend of lacrosse, and it has been phenomenal. Some of these games, double overtime games, and I don't think we've seen one runaway game into the first one today. All of these lacrosse matches have been evenly matched for the most part.
Well, it's been a huge treat to be here and to see these young men finish their season, and we'll see more champions crowned. And I've always believed that a lacrosse season should end with tears, one way or the other. Tears of joy or sometimes tears of sadness, because tears mean investment. And I think what we're seeing here on this field today is a couple of teams that have invested an awful lot in their seasons and should be very proud.
The ultimate coaches speak coming from Coach Hayward Lee. He just has them on will call for you.
He'll pull them out. It's got a book. It's like they teach it.
He calls them tears of investment. I tell you what, man, if that guy can't get you motivated, you just don't have a pulse. Rockwall brings the ball back and bounds. Caleb King working in the middle. And that's a shot attempt and another save by Julian Garcia. Rockwall trying to keep the possession. Ball goes out of bounds. Creating the turnover is Rockwall. And Caleb King trying to facilitate, gets it over to Harris on the far side. Trying to find someone in the middle of the hub, but D Cavaliers are collapsing their defense inside, and that's a
Lake Travis will give you a shot. It's just going to be a bad angle. You know, it's not a shot you want to take, and unfortunately, you want to abbreviate that and roll back, and instead of forcing the issue and ended up spinning the field on yourself.
And they've got tremendous confidence in Garcia, the netminder.
Got Blake Morton coming back across, and look at Jonah Rogers with the pirouette. And now passing back out to number 1, Fabio Medina. Young man has had himself quite a game today here in Dripping Springs. And that's another save, but that was a penalty previously.
Penalty goes against Rockwall.
So possession will stay with the Cavaliers. As the Cavaliers have a man-up advantage. Bringing the ball inbounds for the Cavaliers is number 26, Blake Morton. Morton to Nico Triant. Triant back to Morton, and Morton looks to pass out of it, but he says, you know what? I'm in prime position. This is where I like to take my shot from anyway, and cashes in again for the Cavaliers.
Well, Morton is playing at the top of his game, and why wouldn't he be confident? He's had a fabulous weekend, and again, he's got his hands free just outside the hash marks and low to low past the goalkeeper.
And it works out to perfection for the Cavaliers with the man-up advantage. This is a team you cannot give extra possessions to, and they will cash them in. As the Lake Travis Cavaliers pulling away here with 3 minutes in the third. And that's a push, and that's going to be a penalty.
And you really don't want to see this, the game getting a little out of hand on the scoreboard, and we want to see both teams keep it classy and as few yellow flags on the field as possible and just play lacrosse.
Well, I'm counting 4, so we've well surpassed the class level. It's just tempers are flaring, and everybody's got to kind of get retired to the sideline, clear their head, remember why they're here, and try and stay in business. But obviously there's some chirping going on with that cross check and penalties that ensued following that.
And guys, what you're seeing right now in any sports, competing, as you guys know, frustration sets in. You work this hard to get to this point. I'm not by any means saying that hit at the X was called for, but I tell you what, Matthew Stanislas has been all over them at the X, and at some point trying to find a victory, and how do you get past this guy is pretty much an impenetrable wall at the X, and got to be frustrating. And so tempers are flaring, but I'm with you, JD. Guys have got to figure out why they're here and try and show some class and represent themselves and everyone that has supported them to this point.
Well, lacrosse is an emotional game. It's played by emotional players, coached by emotional coaches, but certainly there's no place in the game for losing your emotion and crossing that line. And I think both teams have classy coaches, classy players, and a deep breath, and we'll get back to lacrosse here.
It's the explanation being made on the far side, and there sure will be multiple players. Sitting this one out. And it looks like there's just one player for Rockwall.
I think he got a pole there on the backside of the penalty box. Yeah, it looks like Jace White.
So we got one apiece.
Which is penalty to nobody, and then you put two guys that are beefing over in a small box on the sideline.
Things work out perfectly as we're back in action here in Dripping Springs with 3:02 in the third.
Well, what we have is 5-on-5.
Nico Tryant on the near side.
You may see Lake Travis hold the ball until their penalty is released and then put them man up.
And that's exactly what happened. And hoping that someone was going to run out at number 26, Blake Morton, because that's where he scored from before.
You can't let Rogers have his hands free right there.
And Nico Tryant in close, and Rockwall lucky that wasn't a goal. And possession is going to go to Rockwall. Hudson Kirk looking to clear.
And Rockwall's got to, they're got to go into the offensive zone with no help on the man down. And now they're back to full strength.
And things getting a little chippy there at the 3-minute mark. Looks like we've calmed things down here for the time being. King back across, Rockwall looking to get movement. Getting the ball out on the swing. And that's a shot that didn't have a lot of velocity on it at all, and an easy save for Julian Garcia. Garcia coming far out of the cage as Rockwall is trying to add some pressure. And that's a turnover. Hudson Kirk advancing on the clear. Kayla King working from behind the X. Getting the ball back top side. Rockwall being patient on offense, trying to find a good shot.
Like to see Rockwall roll one of their players off the crease, give themselves one more guy on the perimeter to get the defense into a rotation.
And we talk about their patience, and that was a little bit of impatience. And look at the speed right now. Goodness. Blake Morton, man to man, and he will not be denied as number 26, Blake Morton, is cooking with Crisco on a Sunday here in Dripping Springs.
Well, it's almost like Morton, as soon as the ball turns in the offensive zone, he just goes to that spot on the edge of the shooting lane and just goes to work. And, Rockwall, they're at an obvious disadvantage with the heat that Morton's bringing, but with man momentum down, it's certainly a double undoing.
Yeah, turnover there on the high crease and leads to a run out, and then you're in a really difficult position there as a close defensive unit, staring down the gun barrel of a 4-on-3. You can either slide off of Rogers or you can slide off of Morton.
And another penalty flag on the field as Stanislas goes off in another victory at the X. And looks like another timeout as called, this one on Rockwall. A minute 20 left here in the third. Oh, was that the...
Miraculously, it's the fourth period.
Okay. Okay. And so that's the end of the third. I do apologize. Thought that was going to be a minute 20, but it is actually the end of the third. And here we are with one more quarter to play to decide the Class A state title. And so far, everything going the way of the Cavaliers. As they take a break, we will as well, and we'll be right back for the beginning of the fourth quarter here on Game On Sports.
The customer service is really unparalleled. I've never seen anything like it with any other company.
The emblem, it just says a lot. It means, hey, I bought from Sewell.
They listened to what I had to say and actually cared about my experience.
Every once in a while, you want to be spoiled, and Sewell does that.
It's not just a transaction. That's the thing about Sewell.
I will always drive a Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and certified pre-owned vehicles at Sewell Cadillac or SewellCadillac.com.
In the end, it's not the politician that builds this country. It's the entrepreneur, carrying the world's largest economy on their shoulders, putting Americans back to work. Really, they're the only ones who ever could. We've always been the entrepreneur's bank for the century behind and the century ahead. Vista Bank. Entrepreneurs banking entrepreneurs since 1912.
When I think Lexus, I automatically think Sewell.
When I look at a license plate that says just Lexus, I'm like, oh, that's good for you. When I see a Sewell on it, I'm like, you know what I know.
I show up and I have my crew with me. They acknowledge me and they acknowledge my children, maybe give them a high five.
You get more than you expect. You get the wow factor at Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and L-certified Lexus vehicles at Sewell Lexus.
One quarter, 3 quarters are in the books. 1 quarter left to crown the champion here in Dripping Springs, Texas.
Quarter against Rockwall. Lake Travis will be man up.
Another man up situation for Lake Travis. Everything going the Cavaliers' way so far. It's Fabio Medina working in the middle. That's a shot from Blake Morton that ricochets off of a player, and my. Right place, right time. Number 12, Jonah Rogers, Mr. Johnny on the spot.
Well, when it's going your way, it's going your way. But I also believe you make your own luck. And the nice pickup and the great look inside. And Rogers, he knows what to do when he gets the ball in there.
He does it. Does it so well, and boy, they're just pulling away, man. It seems like at the beginning of every quarter so far, it has been the Cavaliers cashing in quick.
Yeah, I think they come off the bench and they have purpose, and they get in their spots and wait for the music to start playing and do what they need to do.
And that man-up situation, able to take full advantage of.
You know he's great.
Matthew Stanislas going right back down at the X. That has been the theme of this matchup, the dominance. Oh, that was a laser shot, rewarding the ground ball goon of Luke Elder with the score.
Yeah, and there was just everybody pitched in on that last little series, and Elder benefited.
And look at that, Jonah Rogers feeding, and he's in position to take his shot, but that's unselfish by number 12, the senior attackman, Jonah Rogers, getting it out to Luke Elder, sharing the wealth.
Yeah, Elder's done a lot of heavy lifting for this team and coming up with a ground ball off the man-up face-off, going to Rogers, and then giving it right back to the big fella running the floor, and you love to see that kind of unselfishness.
Even when Stanislaus loses, that they actually wins. And here they are again, Tyler Joseph on the move for the Cavaliers, and here they are again setting up on offense. Still in the man up.
Come on, Frankie.
Dina with the bouncer. Bouncing right to number 12, the guy that you don't want with it. Look at number 15 trying to work his way back around in close. Somebody may want to get there in the hub and not allow this thing to get past the crease. And the crease violation called on the field. And Rockwall able to get possession and trying to advance. Seconds away from the violation. Caleb King working back inside, and he tries the lefty shot.
Rockwall, on the penalty release, they're back to full strength. And they just need to take their time on this attack and see if they can just build some momentum, get something in their books to build from as they move forward into the latter part of the fourth period.
That's just an error on Rockwall's behalf. Look at Jonah Rogers advancing. Bringing the ball back out to Medina. It's been all the quick transition of the Cavaliers, coach. They've been getting out really quickly after saves and ground balls. Once they get the clear, there's an easy save. If Julian Garcia with a clear save, everybody takes off for the fast break.
And the zone defense allows you to do that because you keep the same people in the same spots.
There's another score. Number 34, Caleb Ekman. And they're going to call a penalty on Jarek Ankton, but Ankton just standing in position. He's a bigger body.
Well, Ankton kind of came across the crease. They're gonna call a cross check, but he came across the crease and got onto the shooter late, and you're a bigger body, and the smaller body ends up on the ground.
Ankton going to the sin bin. On a sit for 1 minute. Another advantage for the Cavaliers as if they needed something else to go their way.
Well, I think the officials also mindful of what's transpired the last few minutes, wanting to make sure that they have control over this game so that there are no extracurriculars and nothing gets out of hand.
Well, and these officials, they do their scouting reports as well, and they, they're like everybody else. They're prepared when they get here, and sometimes they have an inkling they don't want to let one team get over on another, and like as you said, just kind of keep everything in check and keep everything calm down so we have a great event regardless of outcome.
And to Rockwall's credit, I don't think that they came into this matchup trying to play bully ball. I think that they knew what they had to their advantage, which was the size and physicality. And obviously the Cavaliers have speed and skill working in their favor, which has been on display this entire game. And that's a good job right there by number 12, Hudson Kirk. Kirk on the move for Rockwall. Let's see if he calls his own number as he spins back inside, looking for the lefty, and able to dislodge there is number 4, Chase White, who's had himself one heck of a game. Medina unfazed. Don't know the call. Is that a Ward call made? I saw both hands on the stick for.
You can't be called for a award with both hands on your stick.
Either way, penalty called, and that's going to be another turnover. And Rockwall just getting out of the man up.
And going right back to it.
Right back in it. Here again. Cavaliers with the advantage. Bringing the ball inbounds is Jackson Kane for the Cavaliers. Passing out to Medina, who has had himself one heck of a game. Shot that goes across the cage will stay with the Cavaliers.
And it should be noted, most of these guys on the field for Lake Travis are not the frontline starters outside of Medina.
Jagger Davis on for the Cavaliers. Trying to get a pass at the front of the cage is Davis. Jarek Hankton back on for Rockwall after serving the 1-minute penalty. And that's a turnover. Now the Cavaliers had numbers, but that's going to roll out of bounds with possession back to Rockwall. And you talk about substitutions being made by the Cavaliers, probably in position now, understanding that a state title is in their sights. Connor Poe, someone you've been calling for, coach, to be more involved in this game. And there's one from long distance away from number 9, Evan Harris. Finally getting something positive to happen for Rockwall.
Yeah, Harris has been kind of in all the middle of all this noise going on between these two teams, and is obviously frustrated and wants to take advantage and wants to fight back into this game, and has enough pride to do that. And he set his feet and just popped that thing in.
I use the line that you've been using this morning into this afternoon. These teams are here for a reason, and so they've got to find a way to conjure up that championship level of play. And you've seen, even though the Cavaliers from Lake Travis have just in a way outclassed them, still Rockwall's here for a reason, and they still have shooters on deck, and they have to continue to use them to make this respected.
And sometimes it's from a coaching perspective, you want to tell your kids it's not just about winning. It's about being the best version of yourself. It's about playing your best. And you can walk away and put your head on the pillow tonight knowing that you've left your best out there. And in this case, you've got 6 minutes and 39 seconds left. Let's go be the best version of ourselves over this period of time. Let's execute defensively, offensively. Let's keep fighting. Let's play with class, but let's play with great effort. And let's see if we can make a great accounting of ourselves over these last few minutes and walk away feeling good about how we left this field.
Yeah, being here is one thing, but I completely agree with Coach, being the best version of yourself, and Rockwall just looking for something positive to happen for them here with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left in this Class A state title.
And, you know, with the substitutions that Lake Travis is making late, you're still playing some exceptional players. There's still some exceptional players coming in with red helmets on that side of the field. And you got to face up to it. And like you said, win the next 30 seconds, win the next 6 minutes, whatever you want, whatever increment you want to deem, you know, be successful in that time period. And we judge, you know, we're the arbiter of how good we are and what we can build on from there.
And down at the X, now for the Cavaliers is number 32, Peyton Kirby, freshman midfielder. And up against number 9, Evan Harris. And Harris, well, that's going to be one sore young man. He has, like you said, JD, he's been in the middle of a lot of everything that's been happening today. And
He is, I mean, he's very active and a very athletic kid and obviously a competitor.
And just a sophomore. Well, both of these teams, if you look down their rosters, full of underclassmen. And so the future is bright for both of them.
Harris went back to the well that time, but solid save by Garcia.
Jacob Nails. Nails with sub duty. They get offsides here. And possession goes to Rockwall. 5:54 left in the fourth. Trying to get the clear, and they do. And James Parks advances the clear. And down by 13 goals. It's Rockwall. Caleb King working from behind the X. And harassed by number 28, Holden Williams. Avery setting up the offense for Rockwall. Coming back to the middle of the field, and that's a rear check. A holding penalty. Possession stays with Rockwall.
And of course, Lake Travis, having spilled their bench, has gotten out of their zone and into man-to-man.
A little different look here for Rockwall, who has battled for 3 quarters to no avail because of the pressure being put on them offensively by the Cavaliers. It has been a unending assault of shots by the Cavaliers here this afternoon in Dripping Springs. Ball goes out of bounds. Possession will stay with the Cavaliers with 52 seconds on the shot clock. Talked about the swagger that the Cavaliers came into this stadium with, and they have kept it for 4 quarters. And it's something we've asked the question, you know, can you play like this with this intensity? And they have, as that's a shot and a penalty.
Yeah, and the pull from Lake Travis just came in late on the ball and never really reset his hands as he went in for the check. And, yeah, and these refs, I mean, they're being patient with it, but they have a hair trigger on the flag just to make sure, just to ensure that anything doesn't get out of hand.
And you've got a protected player up near his helmet.
And all of that is preemptive as Rockwall is back on the attack. And trying to get something positive to happen for him, as Coach alluded to. Just win the next 30 seconds to the end of this game. And there it is, another shot attempt and score in the middle with number 5, Cody Kovacs.
Oh, the great look inside, and then Kovac had the presence of mind to turn, drop his hands, and finish quickly. He puts it low to low past Garcia and draws the foul.
And Kovacs, from what I've seen between yesterday and today, he's really kind of a role player on the offensive attack, moving the ball around, giving different looks, and finally has an opportunity late to pop one in the net. And you can't take that away from him. He gets to walk out of here with a goal in the state championship game. I don't have that one at the house.
Nope. There are some guys that are going to be adding some hardwood out here. Some hardware, excuse me.
Bad luck for Rockwall, who won the faceoff cleanly. A non-traditional counter rotation and set to your non-draw side wing just went out of bounds.
Thought that last penalty was against Wilsey, but was not.
And I don't know that Lake Travis is playing, primarily freshmen or younger players, but I see more jersey than player with some of these guys, so I would assume they're on the younger side.
And you are correct, as the majority of players out here are sophomores and freshmen for the Cavaliers. Coach Mike Donnelly emptying his bench, letting everyone get in on the action for a state title. And Luke Avery with the long pole. And that's cleanup duty for the Cavaliers, as Connor Belzowski with the score. Sorry, that's actually, sorry about that. That is Caden Davis.
Episcopal number 10, Caden Davis. Assisted by
Caden Davis putting in the work here. Lake Travis with another score. Shot attempt and save. Ferris Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia's done with the rollers. He's just playing low. You want to beat me high, beat me top shelf, but I'm done with the roller.
Cavaliers staying aggressive, and that's another score. And that's Nico Triant.
Just a dodge by Triant down the right-hand alley, but he's able to keep the stick in his strong left hand inside. Not enough defensive pressure from Rockwall, and he's able to finish inside the hash marks for the 19th goal for the Cavaliers.
And I'm sure Nico Triant, again, he sees the opportunity as he's coming over there from the right side in, and he's saying to himself, I can't be this wide open, and he's going to take that shot regardless with 1:49 seconds, and the Cavaliers are starting to smell it as you see the Lake Travis faithful standing on their feet. Realizing that the state title is right in front of them, and Garcia says, hey, you got to fool me with something a little bit better than that. That ball goes out of bounds. Possession will stay on this end with Rockwall. two games that we've called this morning have both been blowouts. And we've got a matchup after this that we don't assume will be a blowout, but so far, you talk about teams that have exerted a lot of energy yesterday, and you could see that taking a toll on Rockwall in this game as they came in a little flat.
Well, I think we've seen two teams today that stand head and shoulders above everybody else in their league. And excellence on full display by both of those squads. And Lake Travis certainly embodies that.
And another penalty flag. Down as play stops.
Yeah, I think, from the tone I got from the Kincaid Rockwall game yesterday was, Rockwall didn't spend it all to advance, but they were certainly not, didn't spend it all, weren't satisfied, but kind of felt like that, okay, we advanced and that was an achievement. That's what we wanted to do. And then sometimes you just don't have in a short 12 hours, you don't have enough time to reset and go, okay, that's one goal, that's one step, that's one progression, move on to the next. And sometimes you just kind of shut it down, and maybe that's where Rockwall ended up. I don't know, but they got hot late. They advanced. They beat in Kincaid, a #1 team, and earned a right to be here, and have certainly been able to put the cherry on a very successful season.
Certainly a lot to be proud of for Rockwall on a fine season. And on the flip side of the coin, an outstanding Lake Travis team, and you cannot let that 6-7 record fool you. This is a team that's played a murderer's row of a schedule and has been deeply competitive with everyone they've played all season long, and have found their form late. This is a team that can play with anybody in the state, and you see that tonight.
And that's something you've been pointing out this entire weekend about Lake Travis, and you stated it early, Coach, just being that this isn't your average squad. Don't look at their record. Throw all of the records in the trash. This is a single-game elimination for this Cavalier squad, and you knew that they were going to rise to this moment, even yesterday, not counting them out. And just the offensive assault from the Cavaliers has been so impressive, the way that they've conducted themselves.
They were my favorite going into the Class A championship bracket, and they've certainly proven to be the best team in that bracket.
As the seconds are starting to tick down, Rockwall has come out here and put their best effort on display, but not enough to turn back the Cavaliers that were obviously fully recovered from yesterday. Caleb King with a shot over his shoulder that goes out of bounds, and possession goes back to the Cavaliers with 10 seconds to go here in the second half. And just like that, another state title has been awarded here in Dripping Springs as the Cavaliers from Lake Travis win the Class A state title as sticks are in the air. And Lake Travis with the state title. And Coach, what do you got to say about this group of young men that came out here and just performed above and beyond and took advantage of every opportunity afforded to them today?
Yeah, just the best team in this Class A bracket, and really a team without a whole lot of weaknesses. You've got the three special scorers and Rogers and Morton and Medina. You've got outstanding goalkeeping, and then you've got a zone defense that was very hard for Rockwall to figure out. And then on top of that, if all of that's not enough, you've got dominance at the face-off X. So really a complete victory and an outstanding tournament for Lake Travis, and credit to Rockwall on a fine season. And
yeah, definitely a fine season for both of these squads, as Rockwall is on the other side as the Cavaliers from Lake Travis make their way onto the track to receive their state title trophy. And all of the individual accolades will be handed out here, but I'm sure for Coach Donnelly, he's going to say that all of this is a team victory. And JD, what are your thoughts on this victory here by Lake Travis?
Yeah, Lake Travis. I mean, I saw them early in the season play, and they were solid then, and they're solid now. And I mean, they just came out and took on a bar fight schedule. I mean, you find the biggest guy in the room and you knock him out first, and sometimes you end up on the short end of the stick, and that's reflected in their record. But their record doesn't reflect the state champions that stand on the track before us now. These kids are solid, and they've been good all season, and they took their lumps and obviously grew from that, and were able to come out on the other side. You know, and Coach mentioned to me as we were talking during halftime that, you know, that there's coaching change and some adjustment, not really buy-in, because they already had an outstanding program. But just the fact that these guys, you know, kind of got to get to know each other, and the fact that they worked their way through it and ended up here is a testament to teamwork and program assurity.
Yeah, and this is a club that obviously worked their way. And Coach Lee, you talked about the schedule. Excuse me, JD, you talked about the schedule that they played. And you see a lot of high school programs take on those. They understand that the talent level is above their team, but what they're trying to do is prepare them for moments like this. When you played against that competition that you know that these guys are going to give us their best shot, and we have got to stand in there. Maybe sometimes you are in a blowout loss and you morally having to continue to build your team back up, but this Cavaliers team, they didn't seem as though they had any identity or ego crisis coming into this. These guys withstood, and they got this victory in impressive fashion as individual awards are starting to be handed out here in Dripping Springs.
Coach Pay is headed to lacrosse coaching retirement. Coach Rick Westlake lacrosse high school under Coach Bob Reese. He was All-State, the team's most valuable player his senior year. He was a 4-year starter at Texas Tech. He was a
These awards are being
MVP all 4 years.
now that everyone working their way down, and just stay with us here on Game On Sports as we have the Class 2A championship coming up. Everyone is excited for the next matchup. But right now we are awarding, a state title.
All right, we'd like to go over the Class A awards. Offensive MVP goes to number 12,
And not surprising that the offensive MVP is handed to number 12 from the Lake Travis, Jonah Rogers. And how about that? I call him the ground ball goon or savage, Luke Elder, with the defensive MVP.
And had a nice goal in transition as well.
And how about that? Blake Morton.
And Morton, who got his left hand free a lot of times this weekend and put the ball in the back of the net quite a bit.
Rockwall, the runner up here, nothing to hang their heads about. And these guys battled back to be here, double overtime. JD, as you talked about them and everything that they had to overcome to be here. And so many of these guys, they worked so hard for those state titles. But, even for Rockwall, these guys don't have any reason to hang their head. They competed their tails off.
They did, and they are not far removed from a series of state championships in the rearview mirror, and they adjust with the ebbs and flows, but you always find them in the playoffs, and they will put some magic together, and they'll get some guys to achieve and grow, and you'll see this program back definitely for sure.
And look there at Coach Donnelly celebrating with his squad. And that's just wonderful to see. State titles being handed out here in Dripping Springs, and what a state title match that we have here for Class A. And guys, this has been so impressive to see these two squads come out in battle. And like I said before, don't step away, because we have a matchup of two Titans, and Texas High School Lacrosse about to take the field in about 19 minutes here in Dripping Springs. But not to take anything away from the victory from Lake Travis, but this next matchup, I think we have all eyes and ears on this one, as you see the highlights in the closing. And it was Fabio Medina getting the party started for the Cavaliers, and he and Jonah Rogers cashing in. It was chest bumps and high fives all around, and there's the Blake Morton. And a stop from Brett West. But those were few and far in between, as Jonah Rogers cashing in again. And like I said, those shots that were few and far in between, and that was one from Blake Morton, taken on by West. And another goal by Fabio Medina, and he just kept pouring on, guys, as the evening progressed. Cavaliers did not let up from the first moments of this game all the way through, and another celebration. And hey, a little hot foot from Fabio Medina. And Jonah Rogers with a little roller. And it was shots like that all afternoon that just happened to go the way of the Cavaliers, and they cashed in repeatedly.
Yeah, an outstanding Lake Travis team, and when you think about the nature of the Class A playoff structure, you take the top 8 teams in Class A by poll, and they advance to the Class AA championship. So the outstanding and difficult schedule, as you call it, Jim, the bar fight schedule that Lake Travis played early, had 5 of those teams on that schedule. Even though those were 5 losses, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of improvements made. And then when you get into your Class A playoff bracket and the top 8 teams are not there anymore, they found themselves the class of that group, and you can see the hard work that they put in pay off, and the advantage of playing a tough schedule.
Yeah, and some of the greatest lessons I've gotten in my life is from getting my tail whipped. And Lake Travis obviously showed the same thing. I mean, they went out and they went out, they scheduled those games, they knew what they were getting into, and they used it to advance their program, knowing that okay, these are little incremental steps. Let's focus on the end result. And the end result is what you just saw.
And eloquently put, JD, and your learning experience is coming at the end of a tail whooping. That probably had plenty of those in your life. But that is, you see the Cavaliers, they were running and gunning, doing it the right way, and they were able to pull out the victory here and the state title. And it's been celebration all around for this group that doesn't have to go far to celebrate this victory.
No, not at all. And my hat's off to those two programs at Rockwall and Lake Travis, and they have the opportunity to come here and compete. And I know Rockwall is not happy with the outcome, but down the road at some point they will look back at this and look at this as an opportunity and a blessing.
No, absolutely not. I can completely agree with you on that. And this was a fun-filled Class A state title, and one to remember for Lake Travis. The Cavaliers come out here and they take care of their business in Dripping Springs, and all of these guys are congratulations all around and hugs as they, like you said, very short ride over here to Lake Travis to celebrate this victory. And the Cavaliers come out on top. Max Morton with the MVP. And head coach Mike Donnelly celebrating the state title. So we want to thank you all for joining us here on Game On Sports for the Class A state title. And we'll take a break here and we'll return for the Class 2A state title here in Dripping Springs. I want to thank you all for joining us here on Game On Sports. Have a good afternoon and Mother's Day, and God bless.